This is what it looks like when out-of-state interests try to buy a little Montana Senate rate. But I expect that you see them in your mailbox already. So let's talk through who's doing this and where it comes from. So let's begin with this little group here, Make Liberty Win, headquartered out of Fairfax, Virginia. Their claim was that I'm somehow anti-gun, which is strange because I have an A rating with the NRA. There's a gun in my pickup outside. I have a gun store in one of my dealerships. And I'll share this. I lost 54 head in a night to a bear just like the one they have on here. I know exactly why gun matters to folks here. But they're not saying this because it's true. They're saying it because folks out here support the Second Amendment. And they're hoping some of the less informed folks will buy into it. And then, of course, there's accountability in state government. Sounds good. They've got themselves a Montana treasurer. And when you look at their campaign finance report, they're getting all their money from out of state as well, from a group in Hyattsville, Maryland, who put about $825,000 into Montana. And they pushed a graft and corruption argument, kind of like this. They tried it in the legislative audit. They tried to get major press outfits to pick it up. But they got nowhere with it because there was nothing there to get. So now they've switched to saying that somehow I drove up gas prices. I like this one. They said that there hasn't been a gas tax vote in the legislature since 2017. And I'm certainly not over in Iran or in the Strait of Hormuz. I'm just a legislator from Concord, Montana. And of course, you have the never-ending attacks by Americans for Prosperity. That's the Koch network. You know, they're out of the Beltway near D.C., and their attacks have been all over the map, often about healthcare, like here, because I supported rural healthcare. But in truth, I think it's primarily linked to the residential property tax relief. When we saved Montanans $1,200, Americans for Prosperity went on the record and said, in their own words, they were angry because it benefited Montana residents as opposed to non-residents. So the big refineries, the big out-of-state landowners, they liked it the way it was with Montanans paying the taxes, all spending a fortune on a Montana Senate race. So what exactly do they plan to get out of this? What have they been promised by the people they're supporting? Let's talk about the other side. When I knock doors across this region in Conrad, Shelby, Shoto, Fairfield, Lincoln, all across the region, I see folks I've known for a long time. And the folks working the doors with me are volunteered, not paid canvassers hired by Americans for Prosperity or Make Liberty Win. The voices on the radio recordings are of actual people from right here in this region. And they stand up and say what work I've done for them. The videos on Facebook are your local neighbors and friends speaking for me, farmers, ranchers, teachers, and businessmen, young people I've coached, saying I'm a guy that's doing a good job, that I've delivered for them. And when you read the letters to the editors from across our district, with the names of folks well known in this area writing them, that matters. So let me ask you something. Where are the local voices from our region supporting my opponent? I don't see letters to the editor from anybody in our region supporting him. I don't hear voices on the radio supporting him. I don't see Facebook videos from neighbors standing up for him. What I see is massive, out-of-state, dishonest attacks, backing a candidate whose tagline is honest and true. But I've yet to hear him disavow a single one of these attacks. Honest and true? How honest is it to call a guy that has got an A rating from the NRA anti-gun? How honest is it to call a man who carried the bill who made Montana the only debt-free state in the nation not conservative? And how honest is it to call a man with a 95% lifetime rating to the Montana Family Foundation the somehow anti-value, a man who has lived his life protecting kids and who lives these values every day? Where I was raised, actions speak a lot louder than words. So I admit, when I'm campaigning, I'll draw a contrast when I need to, but I never have and I never will say something that is not based in fact. I believe dark money is very negative for this state. And that's whether it's being spent for or against me. But too much of this outside money can distort a record and turn elections into an auction. And let's be clear, Montanans will not win an auction against out-of-state billionaires. Our citizens' legislature is one of the great things about this state. I don't want to see it sold to interests headquartered in Maryland, Virginia, D.C., folks that couldn't even find Conrad on a map. I know I'm not a show pony, but I am a proven workhorse. So my name is Lou Jones. If you want someone who prioritizes you, who does not support ugly, dishonest campaigning, who will always put you first, I'd appreciate your vote on June 2nd. Thank you.